Welcome to the Level Up Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, John. We have our analyst for this evening, Mr. Amon. We got Wes, and we also have James ready to get into it, some NBA Finals talk. Also, we're going to deal with the Eastern Conference Finals and how that ended as far as, and we also get into our opinions as far as who we feel that will be going into next year's NBA Finals and we'll see where that lands. So we'll go ahead and get things started for this evening. It was a great finals, actually. We thought some of us thought it was going to go the distance with Game 7, but didn't happen to make it there. The Indiana Pacers did close out the series last night, going 4-2 against the New York Knicks. So the first question for this evening is, what do you feel the New York Knicks need in order to make it to the finals or beyond for next year? Uh, I'll go to James first. He is a Knicks fan, and then we'll go to Wes and we'll go to mine.
Hey, yeah. All right, man. Hey, look, the Knicks, just kind of thinking about their team, man. We have a good team, and you can see this year really our bench depth was a issue. We didn't have no depth in the bench. And our coach he loves to play what, like, I think it's like eight players. I think he likes to play. But at the same time, I think that kind of wears you out a little bit when your starters on the floor way too much. So I think we just need some confidence on our bench. So if we just pick up a few pieces, this during the during the mid season, during the season as the season goes on before
Mhm.
the start of next season. If we could pick up a few bench players to try to stack up the bench a little bit, I think that'll bring more confidence, to the team as well to know that we have some people who can trust. The thing is, though, our bench is not terrible. I think we had a couple key guys. I think they're older. I like what's his name, Shamet. I hate saying his name because his name is so
Yeah,
weird to me.
Shamit. Yeah.
Shamit. See, I said
Mhm.
Shamit, but Shamet. Yeah, I don't. I think he's a really good player defensively, and he can knock down shots. But at the same time, I think the lack of trust on the bench is what kind of hurt us. They brought the bench in. What was it? Was it game 4?
Yeah.
Or was it, yeah, I think
It was
game 4
about the
they
game
brought the
four.
yeah they brought a couple guys off the bench, and I think the bench stood out and played well. So I think maybe trust in the bench, so maybe a little depth in the bench during this off season, and I think we'll
Do-
look a lot better.
let me go there right where you're at. Do you feel like Karl Anthony Towns is more consistent? Everybody knows Jalen Brunson is the number one guy offensively. But do you think that Towns needs to be more consistent as a player for the team, or do you think that may be coming from somebody else?
I mean, I think he's consistent enough, man. Like during the playoffs, I think he played well. I think he had
Mhm.
a great run. So at first I really kind of felt like he needed to play harder. He needed to play more. But he's been playing big, man. Even watching how confident he is, even in shooting the three. He don't even shy away from that long three. And I love to see that, a big man who could shoot the ball, who could do what he do. But at the same time, too, you see how the offense runs. It runs through Brunson. He has the ball in his hands most of the time. He actually has the ball in his hands too much. And I think that will help us win if we could get to a mentality of passing the ball more consistently and trusting in other players. I think if we could do that and take the load off one person, we have a lot of guys who can make plays. Bridges, we know he can make plays. We have Ananobi who can make plays. So we got good guys who can have balls in their hands and actually make plays. It's just about passing the ball, And I think the coaching staff really has to focus on understand team ball means moving the ball around a lot when you got players who can make plays. And I think too that'll allow Brunson, off the ball not to be so tired having the ball all the time too.
Okay, I'll save mine for last. Let me go to West and then I go to mine.
Yeah, I think just he's right. He's hit on the head. They do have to have a better depth on their bench.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times, Brunson kind of hurt himself. I mean, there's a lot of turnovers. I mean, and that's just him trying to do too much. They have stars on the team.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be 1-on-4. So I think consistency is another thing. Thibodeau's always played like a 7-8 lineup. I mean, back when he was with the Bulls, that was one thing. I don't know why he does that, but maybe that's something he looks at going into the next season. But this team could very well be back where they're at next year and possibly even succeed if they just get a couple of additional players for their bench, especially with the at the point and all. Because sometimes Brunson he would pick up some silly fouls throughout the year pretty early,
Right.
and again he just does way too much sometimes with it. But I mean, I think that's his thing, right? He penetrates and he dishes, and they're just going to have to be more consistent on the 3 point end and knocking down those shots.
Yeah, Wes, I agree, man. Thibodeau, he's just one of those guys. I think he needs to start understanding that this doesn't work. A lot of what team really wins a championship game with a 7, 8 guy rotation? We don't
Right.
see that because guys get worn out.
Yeah. You see 7 and 8 when you're in middle school.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it is. You got your seven that you play, and you dress 15, but the 13 through 15 is getting the players towels and water.
All right. Amon, what do you think, man? What do you think the Knicks need to do to go further next year and make it their way to the finals?
Excuse me. James pretty much covered it all. I will say, personally, I will run the offense through Towns. That's my personal opinion because he's a big man, and usually, and this is not a knock on Brunson, but typically, with the exception of Isaiah Thomas, no short player. Maybe it's Steph Curry, but Steph Curry like 6'3", 6'4". No really short player has been like the 1/8 for a team that won a championship. So you trade for Towns, run the game through Towns. Like he said, 3 pointers. He was 30. He think he was 42% from 3 point this year. And during the playoffs, he was like 35%. Now, personally, I'd rather see him bang. But I know the game has changed. So, but I'll run the offense through Towns, get some more players as far as more depth. But Thibodeau has, like they said, Thibodeau has his reputation only running like 6 or 7 players. He did in Chicago, he did in Minnesota, and he burned the players out. I mean, look at Derrick Rose's knee. Derrick Rose was burned out. He was young then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Players like in Minnesota, they got tired of him quick. But I mean, that's just his style of play. So really for them to go further, also he has to like evolve. And I'll be honest with you, I don't see it happening because I saw Brunson had to say Thibodeau's a coach of the future because they think James Dolan's gonna fire him, which he might. I mean, even though he went to the finals, the conference finals this year, he still might fire him because James Dolan is notorious for just hiring whoever and just paying the other coach off. But I say to get further, just run through Towns and get some additional pieces to like the 9th and 10th spot and get a backup point guard to give Brunson some rest, like a Mike Conley. I don't be about young. It's like somebody salvageable. Just give him like a 4 or 5 minute break who can control the flow of the game.
Hey, I was gonna say this. That's where I was gonna go. Um, Sometimes it's like in his situation, what I feel like they need. Okay, let's just fast or rewind it back. Last year, in this situation, they didn't go further because it seemed like injuries plagued them at the very end of it. You didn't have Randall last year. He's with another team now. And then you had DiVincenzo. So DiVincenzo gave you that boost of energy that you needed coming at least offensive wise. So it kind of, like you said, it relinquished the role of Brunson feeling like he has to do everything on offense. The other thing I was going to say that I feel like they need to do a little bit more. Have y'all noticed in the games when they play, if Brunson if it was in a half court setting, Brunson having the ball, and then all 4 eyes or 5 eyes of the defense are on him constantly. When the ball doesn't have any movement, it's like they got stagnant, and then they could key in. And as soon as the ball goes up, or if they made a steal off of him, it was throw it up, Halliburton throw it up the court, easy layup for Siakam or somebody else that was going down the court running. That needs to change. I feel like even with either Golden State Warriors, not to take a whole page out of what they do, but on the flow of the offense or the ball movement. When you get rotations and screens, it's harder for you to defend that. So if you do that, I don't know, maybe one of the things that they need we don't see a lot of. I mean, it's that person that can run around screens that can do a 3-point shot for them. That's just one. Those are a couple of observations that I see. Other than that, I mean, defenses they're gonna play hard. They're gonna play all the way to the end. They did go get 6 games, and I don't know what that goes into line with, but that first game, as James said, that really killed them. They should have won that first game. I think that did take a lot out of them losing that first one, and then having the Pacers going up 2-0 and things of that nature. I think that really did kind of jack them the flow of the game for them. But finishing out those games when you can, getting some offensive firepower for Brunson, and then swinging the ball more is what I see. Whether they pick up somebody else or from the outside coming in or whatever. Because let's think about it. Next year, the Boston Celtics, they're not going to have Jason Tatum start the year off. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be a change of record. Milwaukee Bucks may not have Antetokounmpo. There's going to be a lot of different changing parts going on with the Eastern Conference next year. So they'll have the chance to get out the gate early. The two teams, as far as what we know right now, will be them and the Cleveland Cavaliers being consistent as the year gets started. All right, we'll go ahead and go to our second question for the night. And that question is, the NBA Finals is now set between the Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Who do you favor to win this series, the finals, and in how many games? Amon, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to Wes, and then James, and I'll go last.
Um, I'm gonna say because I've seen OKC a couple of times, but not like a lot. Like more, probably like 15 games or so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say just from watching them, just from the eye test, they have offense, they have defense, they're real long. Um, I'm gonna say OKC's gonna win, and I'm gonna
Okay.
say
How
they'll
many
probably.
games?
I give them six. I give them
Okay.
six,
Yeah.
man.
Okay. See,
I
winning.
mean, because I think what's his name? SGA averages like what 40 points a game against Indiana or something like that.
It
That's
possibly could be.
that's
I
a
can take a
lot.
look for that, and I'll look that up.
I think it is. I think like this the 4 games they played this year. I think he averaged like 39 points or something like that, 38 points.
He might have.
But
I'll tell you about
but
it.
yeah, I say OKC in six.
All right. You just feel like they'll get it done in 6 games.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think kind of like now I'm not saying I don't think it's gonna be like a blowout each game. I think as playoff time comes, the stuff changes. But I feel like they're the only advantage well, that's another question. I get that answer that question later. Well, that's one of the questions today. I give them an advantage over OKC for one reason, but I mean, yeah, one reason. But I
I'll
just
give
feel
you the
like
stat line for him right now. SGA, out of the last 5 games that he played against the Pacers, has averaged 34 points,
okay,
7.2 rebounds, 6.2 assists, and that's in his last 5.
and I can't see that changing.
No, no, but he's right though. He scored about 39 points a game this season against the Pacers. But
Yeah.
it was probably 2 games played though. Yeah.
Yeah, so but I just really see outside the coaching advantage because Rick Carlisle is a nice coach, which I say is I get answer later on. That's the only really advantage I give the Pacers over OKC, but OKC in six.
Okay, seeing 6. All right, Wes, who do you have winning the finals, man? And then how many games you got them in?
I got the Thunder sweeping. We
Okay.
just got, yeah, it's just going to be an absolute sweep for them.
Okay. Do you feel like that's just going to be, do you predicate that more of offense and defense or just strictly off based on their defense?
I, I'm basing it on offense and defense and this 2040 vision I got.
I got you. I got you. All right. James, what say you on that?
For me, I'm gonna say OKC in 7, and because I give the Pacers credit, man. They got a really good team. They got a solid team. I think they match up well. They got a center who could be out there shooting threes, and he got moves. He could go inside. He can dribble. Point guard. They got small forward. I think they got a pretty solid lineup, and their defense is pretty good as well. I give OKC the edge though because they got 2 centers, both big men. They both play a lot. They both start at times. I think actually they both probably in the starting lineup now. So I think it's going to be hard to overcome, their size. And the defense too is a little bit more smothering than Indiana Pacers defense. So I give OKC the edge. I definitely see OKC winning in 6 or 7, but I'm going to just give Indiana a little bit more credit and say OKC in 7.
All right. So I got the OKC. I'm gonna give just because they're the Pacers and how they played. Me personally, I'm gonna give them a gentleman sweep. I give Indiana Pacers one game. So I got OKC winning in 5. And that's basically based off of the fact that they do make some good adjustments in series. Um, I feel like they'll squeak by one, whether that's Halliburton scoring, at will, um, Nimhard and some of those guys, Siakam going off. Siakam, one thing I give the Pacers, they do have somebody that's actually been to the finals with Siakam. He's won with Toronto Raptors before. Uh, I like the way his game is. He does do a lot of complimentary basketball, man. He actually he gets down the floor once. That's one thing I noticed about them. And watching, can't wait to see the first couple games. I'm gonna see if the Indiana Pacers can get those extra points that they was getting against the Knicks on OKC when you got the defensive players that as soon as the ball rebounds, they're gone. They're already in position, seems like. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. But I got OKC in 5, so that's my thoughts on that. All right, so we'll go to the question number 3 for the night. That rolls right into uh, battle of the coaches. So, what coach would you give the edge to in this year's NBA Finals? Uh, I'll go to West first on this one, and then I go to James and then Amon.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we got Rick Carlisle. He's
Yeah.
with the Pacers here.
I know Rick Carlisle's been around for a while. I know OKC is the newest edition of head coaching, but maybe that's a good thing. The inexperience is sometimes just as well, because maybe the pressure is kind of off. But you feel like with him, maybe with Carlisle, that he's won and he's kind of been there before and had some really good teams make deep runs, and he still found a different home, and several of those coaching stints. So I'm giving the advantage to the players. I think I'm going to go OKC. I'm going to stick with my gun since it's I said sweep, but I don't know. I don't know if it is as much as X's and O's at this point as it is just the talent out there on the court, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. Yeah, just to let everybody know, yeah. So you got Mark Daigneault. Actually, he's only been there with OKC 1, 2, 3, so 5 years. He's only been there 5 years. I will say this: he went from 22 and 50 his first year, 24 and 58 his next, 40 and 42 the next year. Last year they went 57 and 25, and then 68 and 14 this year. So you can tell they've been knocking on the door each year that they've been playing. So yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I wasn't aware he was a head coach for 5 years. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad, man. Especially in this changing of head coaches in the NBA. What do you got, James? Who do you give the edge to?
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna say, and this is hard, because you got two good coaches and they both made to the finals for a reason. Because Rick Carlisle, he's been with the Pacers, doing his thing, and he's been, coaching them well. They back last year they did great, and here go back at it again. Now this year they made to the finals. Man, he's a good coach, but I think I might give the edge to Mark Daigneault, because I feel like for him, he seemed like he commands the locker room. And having that, is a good thing, because when the players are buying what you're selling, and not only that, what I'm seeing too is the fact that as a team, the cohesiveness has, like, doing interviews together. Look, I don't know if the players that came up with it or if it's the coach's mentality, but typically it stems from the coach when they try to sell that team first, that team mentality, and people buy in. And I just love what I'm seeing. Because if you see it, it just started. I think it might have started last season or or it could have been this season when they all started kind of doing interviews together. But you're winning, good things are happening. But the coaches are doing a great job putting that team together because they're put together. It wasn't like, oh man, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
who's
create
that?
this team. I'm pulling these people and signing these people to add. No, so I think it's great coaching out there.
I agree. Amon, what do you say, man? Who do you get an edge to? Do you get an edge to Rick Carlisle or Mark Daigneault?
I give it to Rick Carlisle just because he's Rick Carlisle. He's been in the league for a long time. He's a great X's and O's guy. I mean, he beat the big three. People forget that.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
with a very old Jason Kidd, who at times still playing high level, and had Mark Cuban breathing down his neck. Because I know he coached in Detroit. It didn't really work out in Detroit. He still had a winning record with the Pistons.
Yeah,
So he beat the Lakers the year. Remember when Andrew
yeah.
Bynum elbowed the old boy in the ribs, JJ
Yeah,
Barea?
I remember all that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So but at the end of the day, the players have to play. But
Right.
I will say, OKC's coach, he was assistant under Billy Donovan, and Billy Donovan was a winner. And he was a student grad assistant. I heard under Jim Calhoun, who's also a winner. So he has the pedigree. It's in his DNA. I mean, Jim Calhoun and Billy Donovan are like probably two of the greatest coaches ever coached college basketball. And and kind of like James just said, the cohesiveness is a little bit better. I kind of agree with James and Wes because Wes said basically, storyline out the window, just let the players play, basically.
Yeah, the players. Yeah.
And James like the cohesiveness. I think Indiana. I think Indiana played this underdog role so well. Nobody really expecting them to beat the Cavaliers. Nobody expecting them to beat
Nope.
not the Celtics, the Knicks. So they really, Milwaukee, even though Damian Lillard was out, I think was he out? Yeah, he was out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, so I think they played this little underdog role. So when they just kind of like going with the flow, even though people forget Siakam was a champion. He won with the Raptors. Halliburton was an Olympian All Star.
Yeah.
So Miles Turner has been playing like crazy. I'm kind of mad the Lakers didn't trade for him now, but anyway. So I mean, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good final. It may not be like the finals period I want for. I'm calling it the Paul George finals because Paul George played for both of these teams, and
Yeah, he
really,
did.
that's how he got SGA because the Clippers traded for Paul George and got those draft picks. So really, okay, you see anything Paul George for leaving, want to be traded. So thank Kawhi Leonard. So yeah, that being said, OKC in 6.
I hear that. Yeah, me personally, I will put it like this: experience and edge are two different things, and that's why I'm with you guys as far as I'm giving it to Mark Daigneault. You can kind of see his steady getting better with the team each year. Understanding that Rick Carlisle, he did win with Dirk Nowitzki against the Heat. Um, However, I do feel like what the makeup or identity of the OKC is, to me, is really what I want my Lakers to be. Defensive minded first. They're gonna get after you on defense, and then they have fun on offense. And you have an MVP player in SGA, who's we don't hear a lot of craziness about him. That's one thing I noticed about both of these two teams. Their stars that they have on the team, none of them get any kind of crazy trouble. Uh, Not saying anything negative about that, but I'm just saying you just don't hear anything off the court that's just crazy. So they're two well coached teams, but I do give the edge in this one to Mark Daigneault with OKC.
You don't hear
Next
about pistols.
question number 4 for the night: who will be the NBA Finals MVP? And the premise is you can only select one. You can only select one. Um, let me start that one out with Ahmad. I go back to you, Ahmad, and then I'll go back to the guys and I get myself last.
Very well, since I said OKC is gonna be SGA. I mean,
Okay.
it starts with him and ends with him. Basically, he's the leader of the team. They have some good pieces. I can't see him like that. Like kind of like the year when Steph didn't win, but when Iguodala won. Everybody like,
Iguodala
oh,
won. Yeah, yeah.
everybody kind of like, okay.
Mhm.
Iguodala was like I ain't say he was an afterthought, but he wasn't like the person you think gonna win the MVP. But so unless and I know you said just pick one, but yeah, some say SGA.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, SGA. James, who you got for the MVP for this finals?
Jay Gilgeous Alexander. Look,
Okay.
man, that dude, he won the MVP in the regular season, and I don't think he's gonna shy away from this challenge, man. I think this kid, like he's unstoppable because he knows how to score. He can score in the multiple different types of ways, you know.
Oh
So
yeah.
no matter what, it's not like you're gonna shut him out. Now, and for I think what Amon was saying was like when um for Golden State Warriors, and I know Steph Curry won the MVP. You know what I'm saying? And of course, he didn't win the Finals MVP. But if you think about it, it's a little bit different here because sometimes these players could double team a star and then they'll smother you and then they'll put big players on you. It's hard to do that. But with this guy here, it's hard. He plays different. He knows how to split double teams. He go in between the double team. So every player is different. Steph Curry doesn't do that. Steph Curry like more fancy dribble around, boom, boom, boom. But this guy, he dribbles with purpose to try to split double teams and get through. And he knows how to get to the free throw line because he's a bigger size player too. It's not like we talk about, Steph Curry's a smaller stature player. So this guy here, he knows how to score. He's gonna get his buckets. Even if it's not shooting the ball, he's gonna get 20-20 from the free throw line. You know what I'm
Yeah, he
saying?
gets that
So
line like crazy, man.
yeah, he's gonna get his and he's gonna get MVP because every voter is not gonna oversee what he brings to the table. And he's gonna put up his numbers, even though it's not like great numbers. I think it takes a special player on his team to go out and ball out like crazy and score 20 some points a game and do a whole lot more to be able to get it over him. But Shea is gonna be the one.
Wes, who you got in that for the finals MVP?
Oh, I got Shay Shay. Yeah, I got Shay. I think he's just going to keep it rolling like everyone says. Plus, I mean, you get Pacers. I don't think that's not going to change any even in the finals.
Who do y'all feel? And while we on this question, and I think pretty much it's pretty synopsis, like full all around. We all have SGA. Who do y'all think is from the Pacers is going to try to cover? They're going to send out there to cover him in the finals from Indiana. That is. Who do y'all think is going to try to defend SGA?
That's a good question, man. They got a couple. They got a
I
they
know,
got a
right?
they got a couple players, man, and they got. I think
Neesmith.
Neesmith could
It
play. Yeah, I
Neesmith.
think I think he could play defense, and not only him. Toppin's a big body.
Yeah, he does have a
I
big
think he
body.
could. I think he could play good defense too. But I think Matherin could even play good defense too, man. So I think they got a few bodies they could throw on him, and I think they're gonna do that. They're gonna throw different people at him, and then they're gonna start double teaming him, and they're gonna find a way to get the ball out of his hand and make the other players play.
And
And I
Mathurin,
think,
low key, I don't know if y'all watched that, but I watched him in the regular season. Mathurin is a guy, he can easily get in the game and score 10 points just snapping the fingers. He can score at
yeah,
will, man, on offense.
yeah, he can.
He's that
Yeah,
type of guy. And if you notice in the games where he got a couple fouls called on him and they was thinking about one of them being a flagrant, he gonna make a solid foul. If he gonna fire you, he gonna fire you. It's none of that easy send you to the line and make some easy free throws and none of that.
exactly.
No,
He's
he's gonna
gonna,
do it the
yeah,
right way.
he's gonna make you work for it. So I think either
Right.
Neesmith or Matherin. I think
Yeah.
one of
I think
those two, man.
Neesmith.
They're gonna throw him on, and they're gonna mix
If
it up too. I think.
if Neesmith doesn't slow him down, it's gonna be a very fast and quick series. We'll be
Yeah.
having to watch something else for the summer. All right. Last question for the night. Other than the two teams that are in the finals this year with the Pacers and the Thunder, what two teams can you see making it to the finals next year? And I'm gonna want to give you there's a prediction that's out there. Right now, you see for next year well, actually this year was OKC and the Bucks. Somebody's got the Warriors in their Heat. Maybe somebody knows something we don't. And in
what's the
2027, you
script?
got Joker again with look who that is. 76 is on there. One is Embiid on that team. And they also
Gee.
have the Phoenix Suns and the Knicks. But nevertheless, I'll leave that up there, but just for fun.
Wait a
But who do
minute.
you guys see
Wait a
making it to
minute.
the finals
That
next
must
year?
say 2033, the Kings versus the Nets.
Hey, hey,
I
anything's
mean, it could.
possible.
It could. It could. It
Yeah,
could.
anything's possible.
This could. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so what was it in Back to the Future? They said, I wish I could go back to the future and put some money on the Cubbies.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
So
hey,
you
look,
never know.
either way, they were wrong right now.
Yeah, they were wrong, of
2025,
course. Yeah.
yeah, they were wrong. And look, they finna be wrong in 2028 because Phoenix look like they ain't finna be nowhere
Yeah,
close to
no,
making
nobody's even going to
making
be in
nothing.
that Phoenix team. I don't believe. I think everybody's going to get traded out of there. I
Hmm.
don't see how that happens. Like I said, you're going to have to either trade away every one of your assets and then get a lot of picks for that. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
But what two teams? I'm just going to say start off for this one. The two teams I see can possibly making it next year. I'm not going to say the Celtics just because of what Jason Tatum is and what's going on with that. Plus the salary issues they're going to have to deal with for the Celtics. That's a lot of salaries out there, and I don't know. They're gonna probably try to make some type of move. I do see some changes coming for the Celtics, so I can't say them. Cleveland, I would love to say more from them, but it's going to be the same old with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Um, I think time has pretty much shown that it'll be very good, probably regular season record. They might even have number one seed again, number one or two seed. If anybody that I can say will make it out of the East, I'm trying to think. I, I want to say the Knicks are probably going to be right back there again. To be honest, barring no injuries, barring no injuries with so probably the Knicks. I would say the Cleveland Cavaliers. But if I had to put two teams, I'm gonna say the Knicks. I'm gonna say the Knicks get back there to the finals next year for the first time in I don't know how long. Probably since 1999 when we were in high school,
Hmm.
me and you, Ahmad.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would say that there'll be one team out the East, and then my West team. I'm gonna say OKC. I'm gonna say OKC gets back. Whether they win, lose in the finals, I say they get back. But just because of the team, they have a very young roster. I don't see anybody changing, going anywhere with the squad they have. It looks like the guys really enjoy themselves down there as they're playing. Uh, and especially if you have a great coach like that with the MVP on your team, sky's the limit for them. So, Ahmad, what do you say? Then I go to James and I go to West.
I'm gonna say, and this is like, of course, just not including free agency and all the injuries.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say probably Miami Heat versus. I'll probably shock you with this. The Houston Rockets. To be honest with you,
No, that's not a shock on that one.
I because
They're
they
about like OKC to an
yeah.
extent. Yeah.
So long as long as they don't blow it up for Durant, I can see Houston making a run. Because Ndoku, as long as your wife ain't around, he's a good coach. He and that was a low blow. I'm sorry, but allegedly, but but yeah, I said the Houston Rockets and the Miami Heat. That's what I
Miami,
got.
okay. I like that. You going out on a limb with that one. I like that. James, who you got?
Man, whoever made this list is smoking because Miami ain't making it next year. But but I definitely would say the Knicks, man, because I'm looking and yeah, but I'm saying that we have to change some things around. We need to
Yeah.
add up change the bench up a little bit, add a little bit of depth in there. But I think we're gonna learn from this season and know that we need to have depth on the bench. So I think the Knicks gladly will make it back. And I know, of course, we're counting Boston out, but it's hard to count them beast out. But if Boston is healthy and people are there, it's hard to ignore and say Boston. But with the way things are and not the unsurety of, Tatum and everything else, I would say, yeah, we say Knicks making it back because this was an impressive run for them.
Would you
And
would you
and
say?
it's yeah. No, I agree with you, man. Knicks making it there. Yeah, what you about to say?
No, I was about to say, who did you say for the Western team? Do you say
Oh yeah,
OKC?
oh yeah. I'm getting there. Now the West, I'm gonna say OKC for sure for the West as well, man. Because Denver, they need to change some things up, man. Murray doesn't show up all the time, and a lot of their players don't show up all the time. They won
Mhm.
that championship because everybody was hitting on all cylinder. They're not consistent every single year, so it's hard to put them back in there unless they make a change, So unless they make a change, it's gonna be OKC find their way back in there. Same thing for Minnesota, man. They need to make a change. They're not good
Yeah.
offensively. They don't have enough offensive weapons. And their defense is good, but you need enough offense to offset a team like OKC where everybody can practically score.
Gotcha. Wes, closes out on that. Who do you got predicting next year to make the finals, East and West?
So I'm going with the Knicks as well. At least I'll tell you one team that I'm gonna surprise you with. It's gonna be the Mavericks. I'm gonna put the
Okay.
Mavericks in there when they get Cooper Flag.
I got you. So okay, so you say the Mavericks. Okay, you think about it, Cooper Flag, healthy Davis. You're also gonna have I'm thinking forgetting the guy's name. He's the center for them,
Oh
but he
yeah,
plays
yeah,
pretty well for them.
yeah. I could see his
Mm,
face.
And then Kyrie.
mm.
So,
Yeah,
I
if
see
Kyrie
it.
can stay healthy.
Yeah,
Right.
if any of them can stay healthy,
Man,
it'd
he
be
can stay healthy.
fantastic. Yeah, Anthony Davis is. Yeah, we call him Mr. Glass.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you talk about Lively is the center you talk about? 'Cause I think they had a couple of centers. The Gafford is the other
Yeah,
center.
so
So they
actually they
got
got
two good
Derek
centers.
Lively, Daniel Gafford. So the center, yeah,
Gafford.
yeah. They also have Klay Thompson, Najee
Mm.
Marshall, Max Christie, Dante Exum.
Yeah, they actually got
Really,
a lot of good players, man. When they
they
added
do.
Davis, that kind of set it off and added Klay Thompson, who's a shooter who go get off them screens like you was talking about the Knicks need.
Hey man,
PJ
at
Washington's a
least y'all didn't
baller.
say the Los Angeles Clippers. Mr.
No,
James
Mm-mm.
Harden. Nah.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy. Hardy's one of those players that's never gonna make it to the finals, man.
I agree,
Just
man.
like I said about Westbrook would never win a championship unless he take a lesser role, in which he finally actually took a lesser role, but he's just not on the right team for now.
Yeah, I just don't see the Clippers doing anything. I mean, let's look at what you had the last 2 years. You haven't even had Kawhi Leonard even playing half of the games. I mean, you
Uh-huh.
really have no cohesiveness. It's like I felt like this whole last year he played maybe the last 10 games of the year and then went right into the finals.
Probably so.
So I
That's
don't
one of
know,
those.
but
That's one of
yeah,
those players
man,
I don't want on my team. If you can't play, you don't need to be on my team. I don't need you for championship time. I need you to build
yeah, you need to
cohesiveness
build on
with
that.
the rest of the team. You build that. If once you build that, you know how to play with them. Everything will be better, man. If you're a champion, you need to be playing ball. You
So
can't
let me
just
make
like
sure
try
I
to
got this
take.
straight. So for the finals, everybody picked OKC, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
All right, everybody picked OKC. Now I'll be shocked if if the Pacers come out and shock us in the first two games.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Oh
man,
no.
we're gonna have a lot to talk about the
Oh
next time
no,
we meet
man.
up.
OKC is gonna probably take game two at home. So I don't mean sure probably go back 1-1. But like
Yeah,
I said, game
yeah.
seven, even
They're
if
gonna
they
get any
split
game.
it,
They're gonna get
yeah,
one of the first two. If I feel like
that's what I think. Yeah.
Indiana's gonna get any game. Yeah, they're gonna get one of them.
Yeah, they're gonna get one of them in the beginning. That's why I say either 6 or 7, because I think they're gonna, steal one at OKC's, and then it'll get interesting from there.
All right. Well, that'll end it for this show. Thank you guys for watching the Level Up Sports Talk show. Continue to like us and subscribe to us on the platforms for YouTube as well as Facebook. And until next time, you guys have a blessed week and level up.
All right, fellas, level up.
So, have a good one.